Welcome back to the CryptoLabs YouTube channel. Today we're talking about Osmosis, all the opportunities that are on Osmosis. Not all, because there's probably 10,000 opportunities, some of the top ones. And let me know in the comments if you've met Colin Mason. Some of you know him as Mace. Some of you know him as the Mason token guy. We don't actually have a token yet, but our community jokes about it.
Not yet.
And if you haven't met Colin yet, then you're going to want to. Super genius when it comes to crypto and DeFi. And we built the UIG together. He's just a little more behind the scenes. His brain's too big to fit on camera, apparently. But today you're going to get a dose of his knowledge. So we're going to be sharing some stuff on Osmosis. And Colin, I don't know how many, well, way more than hours. I'm sure you've put in days worth of research into Osmosis. But yeah, let's look at some opportunities. What are we looking at when it comes to Osmosis?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
And
what's
what
up,
excites
guys?
you about
Well,
Osmosis?
it's so the Osmosis is the main DEX for the Cosmos ecosystem, and I want to talk about this first. And then, again, this is a little sneak peek into everything we talk about in the UIG. It's a blast. I do tons of research in there. We have lots of conversations about in-depth analysis and actually getting into opportunities. But what excites me a lot about the Cosmos ecosystem is that it's completely interoperable. Think of Ethereum, the Ethereum virtual machines, Arbitrum, Polygon, Optimism. A lot of those chains kind of feel like they're in their own silos. They don't really communicate well with each other, right? Like if you want to send assets from Ethereum mainnet to Arbitrum, it's going to take a long time. It's going to be expensive.
Cost you
If
money.
not,
Yep.
it's kind of clunky, right? The
Yep.
Cosmos ecosystem, what excites the crap out of me about this stuff is that it's so seamless and everything is able to communicate and connect with each other. And so I'm going to share my screen here
You've
in a
been, yeah,
sec. And
absolutely. Share your
yeah,
screen. You've
let's
been
do
talking
this.
about this. This isn't like we don't jump on trends. You were talking about this
Oh yeah,
probably
no.
literally a year ago, more than a year ago, like years ago. And now the interest in it is really starting to happen. So walk us through Osmosis, some of the opportunities here. I know volume is way up, which we're really excited
Yep.
for, which is why I mean, dude, some crazy returns that you can make here on Osmosis on this DEX right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a great point. Like we don't chase trends, but we do like to inject ourselves where there's volume, where there is flow. I use a
Yep.
lot of metaphors and analogies in my teachings and trainings, but one of them is we as investors have a lemonade stand and we're trying to sell this lemonade. We have capital, we have lemonade that we're trying to sell. Where are the cars parked? Where is the traffic? Because we as investors want to park ourselves right where all that flow is. And as of right now, a lot of flow is starting to move into Osmosis, which is the main DEX for the Cosmos ecosystem. So I like to compare this with Uniswap, right? Uniswap is a massive DEX that's built on the Ethereum, and you can provide liquidity. You can set up your lemonade stand on different pools within that Uniswap system. But what's so unique about Osmosis is, again, this is the major DEX for the Cosmos ecosystem. And so a lot of these projects, I could scroll through here and you could see a whole bunch, Injective and Tia and
Look at,
Akash and
yeah.
Pika, Stride. I mean, there is hundreds of not
Yep.
just projects, not just tokens, layer one blockchains with
Yep.
tokens built on top of them. So when you think about the
Yep.
parabolic expansion of what's possible in the Cosmos ecosystem, man,
Yep.
in my opinion, it blows away the technology that we know and are used to with
You're
EVM
absolutely right.
chains and even Solana, right? So what excites me again is that there are so many different opportunities that we can get into, right? Again, we're trying to set up our lemonade stand to take advantage of the flow. And so as users are swapping these assets back and forth on this DEX, we as liquidity providers or as investors, we can provide liquidity, we can provide Osmo and USDC into these pools. And as users start swapping Osmo and USDC on this DEX, we earn the fees that they pay to do that. And
Which,
so
guys,
talk
by
about a
the way,
sustainable model.
if you're watching this channel, and feel free to leave a comment and communicate this in your own way. But ultimately, that's what we're doing. Is we are the bank, and as users of Osmosis swap, trade, sell, buy, we're getting paid those fees instead of a bank getting paid the fees, and it can be extremely lucrative to the tune of. I mean, I know some of our pools do 200% plus. But I mean, I'm even looking at that USDT, USDC at 32%. That excites me because I sit on a lot of stables at any given time. And 32%, I mean, you're not getting that anywhere else, let alone 73%. I think I saw a Osmos and USDT pool, or I saw something there that was also 90%, or Osmo USDC there in the pool 1221, 80% return. So some really juicy stuff here.
Yeah, and understand that this is a customizable experience, right? We can concentrate the liquidity. So a lot
Yep.
of these are kind of projections on what would it be with a really wide range.
Mhm.
And if you've been on this channel for a while, you probably heard us start to talk about these concepts. But as you get in there and you want to provide liquidity for these things, you can customize this, right? I mean, we could probably get in there today and just show like, hey, you can customize the range
Let's do one of
so
them.
that yeah, let's do it. Yeah. So first off, before we really dive in, again, we in the community here, we have a criteria that we use, and this is the foundation. I say, man, if you can master this framework and
Yep.
criteria, it makes all of this, because it may feel like really kind of overwhelming when you're looking at this. Oh man, which one do I pick?
Ethan
When you
Osmo,
can
I like that
go
one.
through the
Yep.
criteria. And Lucas, I think I actually did a YouTube video on this,
Yeah, we
but
have a YouTube video. I'll link it. I'll
yeah,
link it below. I think David goes through a lot of this, but we have a few YouTube videos on this because people are just clicking. They're calling themselves investors, but
yep.
they're gambling. We need to have a plan. The money is made when you deploy the capital, and if you deploy it wrong or if you get into the wrong stuff, it's hard to exit with profit. So it's really vital how you approach this. So I'll link the video somewhere around here. But yeah,
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, just I'm not going to go through all this, but at first we look at assets. We look
yep,
at what assets do I actually want to provide liquidity for? And so for us, the main four I say that we've been talking a lot about because they have the most attention, the most volume, and the most I hesitate to say this, especially on YouTube, but the most projected. They have the ability to see some growth here in the upcoming
yep,
bull run. And so Osmo is one, Atom is another one, Tia,
yeah,
Celestia, that's one. Injective is one of my favorites, not
yep.
financial advice, one of my favorites, though. They're building a lot of really cool stuff. But when we are going through this, we're trying to decide which assets do I want to hold, which one assets do I want to provide liquidity for, and
Yep.
ultimately which assets do I want to earn more of. And so
So
for
good.
me, let's pick that injective USDC pool. Actually, Lucas, before I dive into that real quick, another metric that we look at is the liquidity and the volume. And this is actually, I'm going to slow down for a sec because this is really important. Liquidity is how much investors are depositing into this pool. And so for me, that tells me the trust of the assets and it tells me the trust on the platform. So if this is really low TVL and very low liquidity, it tells me investors aren't really putting a lot of investment into this, right? It's kind of looking around like who else is putting their lemonade
Yep.
stands out here, right? And then the volume is how much action are users, how much swapping volume is there. And so that tells me the trust of the assets. And it also tells me, or kind of trust or excitement or
Excitement.
desire
Yep.
for those assets. Yeah. And then it also shows me the volume, how many people are on this street to park my lemonade stand. So one metric, Lucas, real quick, is that we're looking for a volume that's greater than the TVL.
Yep.
And so why I really highlight this is because we're seeing a lot more volume in comparison to the TVL than we have seen in previous months.
And if
Which
people are
tells
wondering
me
why, you get paid more. You make more money.
exactly, you get paid more. More people are on the street to buy your lemonade.
Yep.
So, anyways, so
And
let's
let's
dive
just
in
click
real
on
quick.
one and just explain the really quickly, and we'll just spend 60 seconds on it on what you just said about it being a estimate. Because if you are more active, you can make greater returns. We have some of our investors doing 200%. We have others doing 60%. It just depends on the risk tolerance and their how hands-on, how hands-off they want to be.
Absolutely, and the volatility of the asset too.
Yep.
So let's look at this. So we'll go create the pool. We're going to do manual because again, we can customize this.
Yep.
We can go to a custom range, and now we can set a range at which we want to provide that liquidity. And so, as long as very quickly, as long as the price of injective in this circumstance stays within my range, within my lines here, I'll be earning fees. I'll be
This sets a
earning
really
the
wide
rewards,
range.
right?
Sets a wide range for you right off the bat.
Right off the bat, yeah. But if I wanted to go wider, I can go 55 on the top end and 10 on the bottom end. You'll notice that the APR, the projected returns, adjust. If I want to go closer, if I wanted to go 40, maybe 40 on the top end, and I wanted to go 25 on the bottom end, you'll notice that the APR, the projected returns, gets higher because the range is tighter. And so it is a possibility in a lot of these pools to get really great returns. Just kind of word of the wise, though, we don't want to go too tight, because if we make this too tight here at 35 and 30, see if it projects. Did I do that right?
Too close.
Yeah, it's if it goes too close, it's just the likelihood of that asset going out of range increases. And when that happens, we stop earning fees and we get fully converted into that depreciating asset. So Yeah, it's exciting stuff though, Lucas.
Let me know in the comments if you've watched this. What questions do you have? I really want to start tailoring this YouTube channel to answer questions, and we can get the team on videos to help answer your questions literally directly. So if you have any questions, leave it in the comments. And I always say, when you find a new protocol like this, click around, like try it out. The average investor, remember, shoots for 8 to 10% a year. We can do 60, 70% on very safe assets with wide ranges. We can do 150%. Some of our investors and some of the pools we're in do 250 plus percent. And we're seeing that's not even with the token appreciation. So if you're getting paid out in injective in USDC and you're stacking it for the bull run and then they 10x, you've literally made returns that some people it takes a lifetime to do. And I wish more people saw this opportunity. So in the questions, do let us know, or in the comments, do let us know if you have any questions. Colin, thank you for your time. Also, let us know in the comments if you want us to keep doing these. I'm super open to bringing different team members and just different people up and searching for opportunities. So do let us know in the comments if you want a part 2, part 3, part 4, part 10.
Let's do it.
Colin, appreciate your time. We will leave some videos up here and here and here and here for your viewing pleasure. Study this stuff. I do think this is one of the greatest opportunities of our time right now. And I think the longer you study it, the more you realize the opportunity in front of us. So check those videos out, like, subscribe, all those fun things that the cool YouTubers say. I don't think we're cool YouTubers yet. When someone's like, oh, dude, I was on a podcast and they were like, oh, we got a YouTuber with us today. And I was like, what? Like, I'm not a YouTuber, dude. I'm not a YouTuber. I use YouTube, but I'm not a YouTuber. So we're working on these skills. Appreciate your time. And with that said, we'll see you in the next video.